Delighted to welcome on a returning guest of the show. I haven't spoken to this man in some time. I spoke to him BAMMA about 2 years ago as well. It is the BAMMA bantamweight and featherweight champion. He defends his bantamweight title against Alan Philpott right here in Dublin in just over a week's time. It is Mr. Tom Duquesnoy. First of all, Tom, great to have you back on. How's all with you? I believe you're back in Paris this morning.
Yeah, with pleasure. Yeah, back in Paris since 1 week. So, yeah, pleasure to do the interview as usual.
Excellent stuff, Tom. We do appreciate it. Tom, you're back in Dublin, back to fight in Dublin. Big card, BAMMA Bellator card. You must be very excited to get back over to Dublin and fight. How are you feeling coming into fight week next week?
Feel amazing. Have a great camp because of the help of Greg Jackson, Coach Wick, and etc. I did a perfect camp. And excited. Yeah, exciting now. I put everything together for that camp, for everything. I feel good shape. So just ready to go in the starting block.
Excellent stuff. And you mentioned to me just off air there before we came on that you've a lot going on in the background as well. There's a documentary team following you around at the moment. Can you just speak a little bit about that? What's going on there?
So there is a French documentary society which is called Bonne Pioche. They realized 10 years ago La Marche de l'Empereur, the work of the penguins, and that was their big thing. They actually had an Oscar in USA, so that was the big stuff for them at that time. Since they're one of the biggest documentary society in Europe, and they wanted to do something on MMA stuff, and we get in contact because we have a common friend, and with the guy we get in touch, and I feel a good energy with them. It will be a big documentary, like 110 minutes, I think. Nice. And yeah, that's the thing. Good visibility for me. The documentary will be of high quality because the guys are known for La Marche de l'Empereur, the work of penguins, which is a very good documentary. And yeah, good energy. I feel it good, and we have filming in Albuquerque 2 weeks ago, and everything went swell. So happy about it.
When's there going to be a release date in that? Because obviously we know those guys, and I think a lot of people would have seen that documentary. It won Oscars. Is there going to be a release date on that?
Oh, it will take a little bit more. So actually, they want to do a project from the beginning of my career. So I basically come from the north of France. We will do a focus on the north of France. Then we will see my equilibrium kinda in Paris, training, etc. They went with me in Albuquerque to make a focus on my camp and my current life in Albuquerque. They will be there in Dublin as well, and it will be done maybe in the beginning of the next winter, and then it should go on Canal Plus, which is one of the main channel in France.
Definitely, Tom Duquesnoy, the Oscar winner.
I would like to maybe in the second part of life because I want to be an actor too. But yeah, we'll see.
Very exciting times ahead. With a team as big as that following you around and documenting your life. Do you feel as though now maybe you're getting the recognition you deserve of, I know the French government are still opposed to mixed martial arts, but do you feel maybe, the people around the world, in media and stuff are giving you the recognition you deserve?
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, if you have the skills and you have the consistency, you will be recognized in that world. It's still a new sport, huh? But I feel like the media is a big part in that business. Some people see that sport like a sport business. I see it more as a business sport. Even business, sport, entertainment, even business, entertainment, sports, and sport at the end. So even if your skills will be always recognized, you say a true thing that MMA is still prohibited in France. It's not developed as in USA, obviously. But it comes step by step, and it will come. It takes a long time because we know that the sports ministry is very close from the judo federation elite, so they are like friends. So it's difficult to be a part of it. But you know why? It will come not because of the sports philosophy. It will come because of the business interest.
Yeah.
Because MMA is a big stuff right now. It's the globalization of MMA is a big thing. UFC became the fourth sport in USA. About media wise. So yeah, it's the this sport is the future. So it will come naturally or by business or by, but it will come.
You think you believe that it will come in France? Obviously, the government, again, said they're not going to sanction mixed martial arts or legalize mixed martial arts competitive events recently, a couple of months ago, I believe it was. Do you think France will eventually latch on to mixed martial arts and recognise the sport?
Yeah, they will. They need a big a character. They need someone who is at UFC and has a lot of power. They need someone who is a very good representative of the MMA. Someone who needs to be French, obviously, and I will do everything to contribute in that stuff. For the moment, I have to be focused on my own career because if I get if I work on it, I will lose a
Yeah.
lot of time. But I'm trying to be as much as I can in the MMA development in France.
Definitely, well, you're doing a fantastic job. Talk to me about what you've done ahead of this fight. Obviously, Alan Philpott, a guy we know very well here from Northern Ireland. We're obviously down south here in Dublin. Um, you know, have you stayed in Albuquerque the whole time? You just said to me there you had been. You've just got back over to France. You've been with Coach Wink again and Greg Jackson. Is that been the primary focus, living and focusing and doing your work in Albuquerque in New Mexico?
For the moment, the reason is that I always have to come back in Europe because I have to do my BAMMA fights.
Yeah.
So the reason is like 1 month training in France, 2 months in Albuquerque, and then I come back 2 weeks before the fight in France. So I get used to the jet
Climax levels.
lag, take care of the last details with my coach in Paris, set up the last thing. So that's pretty much the reason. Yeah, so after Greg Jackson will be there at my fight during the fight week, so it will be a good opportunity for me to work with him one more time, even if it's the beginning. Yeah, and that's pretty much the circle and what I'm doing. 1 month in France, be back in shape, doing my stuff in Albuquerque. Usually it's like a full 2 month camp. I come back here 2 weeks before the fight and then heading to Dublin or Birmingham or London for the fight week.
I spoke with Brandon Gibson recently. Obviously, Brandon's one of the guys over, one of the top coaches in the world, one of the top striking coaches. He's over there in Albuquerque. I know you work more primarily with Mike Winklejohn, but Brandon said to me that you won't, entertain the UFC until you feel as though you're a world champion. You're ready to be a world champion. Is that the case with you? Is that how you
Yeah,
feel?
there's a very smart American expression which say when you're ready to be professional, you pass amateur. When you're ready to be at UFC, you pass professional, and when you're ready for the UFC title, you pass in UFC. That's the long-term vision that I always have. That's for me the best idea, the best plan. So it's a clean question. I feel like I should do that plan, so I will, and I feel more ready right now. So we will see after BAMMA fight where I will go. I will listen BAMMA's offer, Bellator too, the Russian people who wants to sign with me too. We'll see.
How many times have you been offered a contract by the UFC? It's been rumored, twice, 3 times. Is that the case? And that you've turned them down 2 or 3 times because you feel as though you're not ready, as you said, to be a world champion until you
I
sign?
have a good relationship with Sean Shelby, who is the matchmaker
Matchmaker,
of the
yeah.
lightweight, so my category featherweight and bantamweight too. It's been like almost 3 years that we are speaking right now. It's not a secret; everybody know it. I don't want to play the rumors too, but yeah, he offered me something, and it's in the interest of everybody that we should wait a little bit more. So I took 4 more fights with BAMMA this year. Next week will be the fourth. After I will be free,
Yeah.
and we will see. We will see. I can clearly see now. So I'm focused on the fight. The fight is done. We will negotiate with everybody. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Excellent stuff. We look forward to that. So you obviously feel as though you're at that level now that you feel as though you can cross over and be a world champion and fight the best guys in that world. Are you ultimately a perfectionist, Tom?
Say again.
Are you a perfectionist?
I think I am, and you know what? In perfectionism, you can be even more perfectionism. For example, each camp brings me to a different level. I take benefits and from the mistakes from my last camp. So each time I'm beginning a new camp, it's always a better one. So and in the same time, my body gets stronger, older. More efficient, and you capitalized of the mistakes you did in the previous fight. So you get better and better and better. And I feel like I feel like it's only the beginning. I feel like I have a potential, but I feel like 1 year ago I was 2 times less better. 2 years ago I was 4 times less better. So if I continue developing in the same rhythm, I hope reaching the highest level in that sport.
Is that also detrimental potentially as well, that you think like that opportunities have come along and you haven't taken these opportunities? Is it a risk almost?
Yeah, it's always a little bit risky, but it depends the confidence you have in your
Yeah.
career. It depends the people you are surrounded by. For me, I just feel it like that. Question feeling one more time. I feel stuff like that. You have to be confident because some of the other people will be like, "You got a UFC shot, you have to go." I feel more like, yeah, UFC is the best for the moment. It's the best, or from my point of view. So at a point, you will obviously go over there because you want to prove to yourself that you are able to beat the best guys in that business. But you have to do it with a long term vision plan. You have to do it with all the tools you need. For me, the tools that I need is to be surrounded by the best. So that's why I'm heading each camp to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So I need to be fixed first. I'm fixed right now because I have a visa for the USA. I can live over there. I have an apartment over there. I have everything I need in Albuquerque, which is considered as one of the best camp in the world because we don't want to say that's the best one actually. So everything is set right now. Just need to confirm that last fight, and after we will see.
Definitely. We'll talk about that last fight, Alan Philpott. A young guy like yourself, but vastly experienced. I think he's been a professional, Alan, since he's been 17. He's a guy, even in his BAMMA tenure, he might have done things potentially that were a little bit immature in the past. He seems to have evolved and matured as a person and as a fighter an awful lot in the last couple of years. I've spoken to Alan numerous amount of occasions. How do you look at Alan? Do you think he's a very, very dangerous opponent? We saw that fight against Regis Sugden back at BAMMA about a year and a half ago, I believe it was. One of the best strikers, probably in Europe was Regis Sugden, and Alan Philpott got the victory over him. How do you assess Alan as an opponent, and how dangerous is he for you?
Thank you for the compliment first, Niall. But yeah. I feel like Alan will take his chance to get the win next week because for him, I guess it will be a nice thing. It could be his UFC tickets if it beats me, and it's not presumptuous to tell that.
Mm.
It will be in his. I know he's Northern Irish, but it will be in his country. He will be overmotivated by the event because that's the first time he will be in main event. It's a good opportunity for him to see his current level because, as you said, I am champion in two division category.
Yeah.
And I feel he will be there. I feel like he's a warrior. He's complete. He's fighting in the ground everywhere. Striking, wrestling. He's an opportunist. He doesn't look to have any doubts in his mind, and I'm sure he feels like blessed to be at that point, and he will do everything to take everything to the win.
How do you rate him as an opponent? Do you believe he's dangerous? Do you believe he's one of the more dangerous opponents you face in BAMMA? We've seen against top prospects like Brendan Loughnane, Shea Walsh. You've beaten all these guys. Where does Alan rank on that list?
I fought, as you say, a lot of dangerous opponent, and they all bring me their own difficulties. Brandon was tough and heavier and older. Shea Walsh was a strong opponent, very well prepared in Thailand. He was very sharp that day. Stronger than me that day too, and Alan, I feel he will be very prepared mentally and physically and over motivated. I feel he is very creative, so he will try to do everything he can to get the win. And in this kind, he's dangerous. He's dangerous in a kind that it's his opportunity. I feel like it's his opportunity to, like it is my opportunity to confirm
Mm.
that I am one of the best in Europe. It's his opportunity, so I take him very seriously.
How crucial a factor, your speed, and they say speed kills, and it often does in the bantamweight division. How crucial is your speed going into this fight? Do you believe?
Speed will be something very interesting in that fight. But I have increased other factors for that fight as timing and precision. My level on the ground is better too. I got some new weapons on the striking game as well, and you will see it next week. Wrestling as usual. I've been training a lot with wrestlers in USA from New Mexico, kind of guys that do wrestling their whole life. So I want to get used to someone who is very good in wrestling. So when I get to an MMA fight, the guy can have the same level. So I feel like I train with the best, surrounded by the best coach, in a good atmosphere because I train at 1,500 meters
Yeah.
altitude, so it helps with the cardio too. Surrounded by good nutritionists, people very solid around me on the emotional side as on the professional side. I feel very lucky to be surrounded by great people. And right now, let's write the history.
Tom, I have to ask you this, and I know it's probably a question you're going to go, I always put pressure on myself, but there is a lot of eyes on you, especially over the last 2 years. I think it's grown and grown and grown. How does the pressure feel on yourself? Because I think a lot of the fans in Europe and in France especially, a lot of the media worldwide are expecting big things from you. How do you put that in check?
The first thing is that I have to understand that the documentary, the interview, all the media obligations are a big part of that business. So if I'm not used to it, I should better become used to it. So that's the first thing. Second thing, to respond you directly, it's pressure. Yeah, it's pressure. Now the goal is to manage that pressure. I'm helping myself with the confident who comes from training is my base. That's my basic. Like, yeah, there is pressure. A lot of thoughts are coming, but you know what? I'm trying to put that pressure in a positive energy. So I'm focused on making that pressure positive energy because at the end of the day, I don't risk my life in that cage. It's only a way for me to get a better life, to get a new step in my career. If it's good inside the cage, it means that it's good outside of the cage because of the money, because of the new opportunities, because of the new negotiations will happen. Yeah, it's pressure. It's pressure, but I think I manage it well using different tools like hypnosis, sophrology, dialogue with smart people around me, people with experience. I feel like I take a little bit from everywhere to be the most complete MMA fighter inside and outside the cage. So mentally, physically, and psychologically too.
Excellent. You seem in confident mood ahead of next week with a win over Alan Philpott, an impressive win. It's obviously going to be a lot down to the way you feel, the way you think, whether you or where you want to go next. Do you think you will feel as though you want to take on the world and you're ready to take on the best in the world with an impressive win on Friday night?
I will do everything for win because, as I say always, I'm not a trash talker. So I'm focused on the win. I'm focused on Alan. I'm focused to do a good performance, delivering a good show and give people what they want. A quality show. Other than that, I'm more focused on my team. My philosophical ideas from the very beginning of my career. Was to be happy, travel all over the world, discovering new cultures. Being happy is the main thing to me. So if one day MMA doesn't make me happy anymore, I will do something else. So I feel that's simple. That's more simple. That it's. I know it's a big business, a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff, but at the end, it's very simple. What are you expecting about life? What do you want to do about life? What makes you happy? What makes me happy for the moment is to get in the cage, training, and trying to be the best, trying to reach the highest level. So to synthesize everything, I think it's all about that. Simple things, simple directions.
Awesome stuff. Tom, it's a fight I'm very much looking forward to next week. I'll see you over here in Dublin. It's just been a pleasure to catch up with you again. Where can the guys find you? You're on social networks at Tom_FireKid, isn't it, on Twitter and social networks?
Everywhere, Tom Firekid on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
There you go, guys. Tom, it's a real pleasure. I'll speak to you next week. A fight I
Thank
can't wait to
you.
see.
See you next week. Thank you for me.